Imagine you are sitting in front of a vast, shimmering screen, a captivating plot full of drama and twists. Your life unfolds on this screen. You see your character achieve something significant, receiving a promotion, winning a prize, finding love. At this moment, the screen is flooded with light, triumphant music plays, and everyone whispers, "What a success!" You feel joy, pride, and the world seems beautiful. But time passes, and your character suffers a defeat, losing a job, ending a relationship, making a mistake. The screen darkens, the music becomes tragic, and you hear condemning voices. That's a failure. What a setback. You feel pain, shame, and the world seems cruel. We, as viewers glued to this screen, are completely immersed in this drama. We believe in it as the only reality. But Neoplatonism, this ancient and profound philosophy, comes and gently, yet persistently, whispers to us, "Stop. Both success and failure are merely shadows on the screen. They are equally illusory. To understand why this is so, we must recall the one, the hen, that very source which lies at the foundation of all existence. The one is not merely the greatest good. It is the absolute reality that has no form, no name, and no definitions. It is indivisible, unchanging, and in it there are no opposites. It knows neither success nor failure, because these categories belong to the world of duality, to a world where there is better and worse, beginning and end. The one simply is. It is pure potentiality and perfection. From this one, as from an immeasurable ocean of light, everything else flows. First, the intellect, or nous, proceeds, which is the image of the one, its first thought. The intellect is the sphere of pure ideas, of perfect forms. In the intellect there are no mistakes, no imperfection. Success and failure do not exist there, because everything that is in the intellect is perfect by its very nature. It is like an eternal library where every book is a masterpiece, and there is no concept of a poorly written book. Next, from the intellect proceeds the soul. The soul is the mediator that looks in two directions, towards the perfect intellect and towards the lower material world. Our individual soul is a particle of this universal soul, and this is where the drama begins. Descending into the material world, our soul forgets its origin. It is like the heir to a vast kingdom, who ends up in a distant village and begins to believe that they are merely a poor peasant. The material world in which we live is the lowest level of emanation, the farthest removed from the one. It is the world of becoming, not of being. It is always changing, always imperfect, always dual. And it is here, in this world of shadows and reflections, do you recall Plato's metaphor of the cave, which the Neoplatonists expanded upon? That concepts such as success and failure are born. What is success in this world? It is always a temporary achievement within relative categories. Did you buy the biggest house? Tomorrow, an even bigger one will be built. Did you achieve the highest position? In 5 years you will be replaced or you will retire. Did you earn $1 million? Tomorrow it will devalue or you will spend it. Success is always a comparison. You are successful relative to someone, or relative to your previous state, or relative to some social norm that changes every year. And what is failure? It is the same thing, but with the opposite sign. It is a temporary loss in relative categories. Did you lose your job? That is a failure relative to your previous stable position. Did a loved one leave you? That is a failure relative to the ideal of eternal love you invented. Failure is not reality. It is merely the shadow of what you considered success. From the perspective of the one, these two categories, success and failure, simply do not exist. For the absolute, which is perfect and unchanging, there is no addition or diminution. Your true essence, your soul, does not become more successful or more failed because you gained or lost a material good. Imagine you are a sculptor. You create a statue out of clay. This is your body and your life. You may rejoice when the statue turns out beautiful, success, and you may be upset when it crumbles, failure. But your essence as the sculptor, your talent, your soul, which is capable of creation, remains unchanging. It does not become worse because the clay crumbled, and it does not become better because the clay took shape. Clay, the material world, is merely a tool. Success and failure relate to the clay, but not to the sculptor within you. Here is a real-life example, a person who dedicated their whole life to service, to helping others, never sought wealth or fame. From the world's point of view, they might be considered a failure, no high position, no big house. But from the Neoplatonic perspective, their soul, constantly turning towards the good, towards the one, is at a higher level of true being than the soul of a billionaire obsessed only with accumulation. The billionaire's success is an illusion tied to the world of matter. The servant's failure is also an illusion tied to the opinions of others. True ascent is not social success, but the return of the soul to the intellect and the one. Our soul, in its descent, forgets that its true purpose is divinization, unification with the one, not the acquisition of material goods. It begins to cling to shadows. Success is a pleasant shadow, failure is an unpleasant shadow, but both are only shadows. Imagine you are searching for a gold coin. You find one and rejoice success. You lose another and are upset. Failure. But if you suddenly remember that you are the son of a king, and you have access to the entire treasury, what difference does it make whether you found one coin or lost one? The coin, success or failure, becomes insignificant because you remembered your true value, your password to the one. Meditation, philosophy, ethics, all these, from the Neoplatonic perspective, are a path of purification, catharsis, that allows the soul to turn away from matter and turn towards the intellect and the one. On this path, we must learn to see through illusions. We must learn to accept success without pride and failure without despair. Why? Because both have no bearing on our ultimate goal. When you are successful, the world praises you, and your ego, attached to the body and passions, swells up. This pride distances you from the one, because the one is absolutely simple and non-dual, while pride is complexity and self-admiration. When you are a failure, the world condemns you, and your ego shrinks with shame. This suffering also distracts you from the one, binding you to the drama of the material world. In both cases, you are stuck at the level of illusion. True success for the Neoplatonist is not an external achievement, but an internal transformation. It is when your soul, purified of passions and attachments, begins to see the light of the intellect more clearly, and eventually merges with the one in a state of ecstasy, a stepping out of oneself. In this state, there is no place for either success or failure, there is only pure being. Thus, the assertion, "Success and failure are equally illusory," is neither pessimism nor a call to inaction. It is a call to a higher perspective. It is a demand not to identify with the temporary shadows on the screen, but to remember that you are the sculptor, you are the king, you are a particle of the one. True value lies above the game of success-failure. Our life is not a competition, but the soul's journey home. And on a long journey, what is one stumbling block failure, or one rest stop with a good meal success? They are just fleeting episodes on the path to eternity. Continuation of the article, deepening the analysis of the illusoriness of time, space, and action through the lens of Neoplatonism. If we continue to reflect on why success and failure are merely shadows, we must consider the nature of time and space, which, according to the Neoplatonists, are also derivatives of the lower levels of reality, and therefore cannot contain anything genuinely real. Our concept of success is always inextricably linked to time. Success is the achievement of a goal in the future. It is the result of past action. But the one, as the absolute, is outside of time. It dwells in the eternal now. For the one, there is neither was nor will be, but only the pure is. Our soul, being a part of the universal soul, also belongs to the realm of eternity. When we meditate or philosophize, we are trying to break free from the captivity of time to experience this eternity. When you say, "I achieved success," you mean that at point in time A you exerted effort, and at point in time B you received a result. This entire chain of cause and effect, this linearity, is a characteristic of the material world. But for the intellect, where all the ideas exist simultaneously and eternally, there is no difference between point A and point B. Your success is merely an instant flicker in the infinite stream of eternity. And your failure is the same instant flicker. They vanish like ripples on the water when the soul turns toward its source. Let's take an everyday example. You worked on a project for a long time, and it failed. Failure. You feel you wasted time. But the Neoplatonic philosopher would say, you cannot waste eternity. You merely used the form of time for the education and purification of your soul. Your failure, your suffering, is merely a distortion of the perfect idea of the good, which occurred in the sphere of matter. It is as if you tried to draw a perfect circle, the idea of the intellect. But your hand trembled, matter and time, and you got an oval, failure. But the idea of the perfect circle remains perfect and unchanging in the intellect. Similarly, when you achieve success, you are not creating something new. You are merely better reflecting an already existing idea in matter. A successful business is a more accurate reflection of the idea of order and goodness, which brings benefit, than a chaotic and failed one. But both are only reflections. The illusoriness of success and failure is amplified by the fact that they are tied to public opinion and the passions of our lower soul, which is attached to the body. Success is always accompanied by vanity and failure by envy or shame. All these emotions, according to Neoplatonism, belong to the material part of the soul, its lower vehicle, not to its higher rational part that seeks the one. Imagine you are a pure crystal. You fall into a muddy puddle, the material world. The mud that clings to you is our passions, our ego, our attachments to success, and our fear of failure. When you are praised, success, you feel the mud has become golden, and you begin to value it. When you are criticized, failure, you feel the mud has become a heavy stone, and you want to throw it off. But you, the pure crystal, remain unchanged. And our task is to understand that we are the crystal, not the mud clinging to it, whether it be golden or stone. Thus, meditation and philosophical contemplation are not just the calming of the mind. They are a constant attempt to remember that our true nature is not what changes in time and space. Our true nature is the soul, striving toward the intellect and the one, where success and failure merge into a single, non-dual, eternal being. Ultimately, the true goal is not victory in the illusory game of life, but awakening from the dream of it. When the soul remembers the password and begins its ascent, it leaves all these earthly evaluations behind. Success and failure become merely experience that helped it purify and move closer to the Absolute, where there are neither victories nor defeats, but only pure, unchanging good. And this realization liberates us from the greatest fear, the fear of being a failure in a world that is itself a shadow. You may never hear me again, so subscribe to the channel and like.